How's it going, everybody? I hope the day is treating you well. A while back, I talked about the idea of making a meal out of a crumb. Got into a conversation about that topic this morning, and it seemed like a good time to go back and maybe revisit it a little bit. That notion of making a meal out of a crumb comes from those of us who've grown up in dysfunctional households. Maybe there was alcoholism, addiction of some other kind, or mental or emotional illness, emotional abuse, physical abuse, whatever the situation was. Often, we were told perhaps that our opinions didn't matter. Maybe we were called stupid. Maybe we were told to shut up. Maybe we were beaten or yelled at if we didn't behave in a certain way. And in situations like that, honest, open, and untethered displays of affection can be pretty rare. And so when they occur, we take those things in, we hang on to them, we lock them away like the rare, precious gifts that they are. And when times get hard again, we pull them out. We draw them close and we huddle around them for a little warmth. Maybe we tell ourselves stories about them. Maybe we build them up, being greater than they really were. Or maybe we tell ourselves they happened more frequently. Whatever we can to do to get by, to protect ourselves against the pain of their absence. As we get older, if these things are left unchecked or unexamined, these behavior patterns can spill over into our friendships and into our love relationships as well. When we grow up in difficult households, sometimes we feel like there's nobody else in the world that understands us. We spend a lot of time feeling alone. And so when we find another person or other people who seem to get us, we tend to cling to that. We put a lot of value in it. And sometimes we can jump into those relationships full bore. We can move in, spread out, take up more space than the other party is really willing to allot to us. And we tell ourselves stories about the relationship, about the depth of it. And we build on that, just as we have in the past. And then we operate not from the perspective of the relationship as it really is, but from the relationship as we wish it were, we perceive it to be because of our need for it to be something else. And that's a lot to ask of another party. Sometimes this can be worked out if the person that we're dealing with is pretty solid. But if not, sometimes these relationships can blow apart. Because the person or people can't live up to the expectations that we have of them, nor should they. Another way this can play out is the constant revision of past events. I've talked with many people like myself who've grown up in, pretty crazy households. And there was always that code where there were certain things you didn't talk about, things that you had to say, things that you just couldn't say no matter what. And so you were constantly on guard, watching other people's faces, looking for any telltale signs that things were going to shift. And so if you're out with a group of people or even in a one-on-one situation and something happens, in the quiet hours after it's over, we tend to replay that event over and over again, picking apart every word that we said, every sentence, every nuance. Because somewhere, deep down, we're sure that we were the cause of the problem, even as most often has turned out, we're not. What it all seems to come down to is the establishing of healthy and secure boundaries. When your home is dysfunctional as a child, that's the environment you grow up in. Often that means you're not taught how to build secure boundaries. And often we operate in one mode or the other. Either we have no boundaries whatsoever, so anything that we are and anything that we have is up for grabs, and we're constantly violated in one way or another. Or we learn how to put up big, thick, impenetrable walls. Walls which keep us safe for a while. But unless we do our work and learn how to tear them down as we get older, they become ossified, they become thicker, and they begin to close in on us, and they hold us prisoner. We get disconnected and afraid to step out into the real world because of shame, fear, or guilt. But as we begin to put healthy boundaries in place, when we finally do our work, and we look at our wounds, we look at the home life that brought them about, we begin to take responsibility for our actions as we get older. We learn to build boundaries that are porous and flexible. Sometimes they're far-reaching and allow in quite a bit, and other times they're close and allow in little or nothing because we feel overwhelmed. As we become secure in that, we begin to understand very simple facts like a relationship isn't going to fall apart if we decide to take a weekend off just for ourselves. Because in reality, if that's all it takes for a relationship to fall apart, maybe we're not as valued as we thought we were. Maybe what we were really doing is living in a story of how we thought things were, and not the truth. And to be honest, one more story is the last thing any of us need. Until next time.